What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we're getting our last double credit booster weekend for 2025 on November 28th. And I thought I'd put out the most up-to-date Profit Taker Chroma guide I have. Yes, things have changed since the Profit Taker Chroma guide from like 4 or 5 months ago. And they've changed for the better. Actually, it depends on what kind of loadout you use, but for me, it's changed for the better once I've changed up my gear a little bit. Before we get into this stuff, make sure this channel daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, all that kind of stuff, right? Points Warframe content. The day this double credit weekend starts, the 28th, is also the day of the dev stream and borrow. So expect a bunch of videos on the day of the double credit weekend. All right, so let's hop right into this. It's about 9 build videos in one. That's why I don't really like doing these videos too much, but yeah. I do want to make sure I share the credit farming guides for you guys when they're relevant, like this week. All right, so as far as what is going on right here, we are fighting the Profit Taker boss fight, which requires rank 5 with Solaris United to even get access to the second syndicate Vox Solaris. This is the 4th bounty step of the Profit Taker heist bounty. We're using our Archwing Guns to destroy the Profit Taker's legs, and we're using our normal weapons to destroy the Profit Taker's shields. As far as what has changed in this fight, recently, they made damage attenuation added to the Profit Taker. It is very hard to notice unless you are trying to one-shot, and you still can one-shot with certain weapons on the legs, but I'm going to tell you right now that currently, I don't even think it's worth one-shotting because it's just faster to machine gun them down. Alright, so top right into all the builds and what you can expect with this kind of loadout. And honestly, if you are doing this the same way I am, you can expect to be knocking these out in under 2 minutes with Chroma, and also doing it pretty chill as well. So, yeah. Also, during the double credit weekend, if you use the Relay Blessing, the store-bought credit booster, and Chroma's ulti effigy does double credits, you can expect 2.4 million credits from a single run. That is, again, with the Relay Blessing as well. The Relay Blessing does stack quite nicely with Chroma's ult. Okay, and also make sure you're using literally everything I'm using in this video to the T. You can, of course, change things around, like, okay, put Corrosive there, put Viral there. You need to have basically every element in the game to fight the Profit Taker and to take him down quickly. Okay, so now that we've established that, let's hop into the ship so we can talk about all the builds. Okay, so as far as the builds and what weapons you should be using with this loadout, we've got Chroma equipped right now, Chroma Prime for that matter. As far as the Archon Shards, 5 Archon Tau Shards for power strength. We are a 400% power strength Chroma right now, and ideally, you go for even more power. So I'll be using this override right here. I'll be using this Helminth button to basically take this buff meant for Vauban and put it on Chroma for 1 week. I'm going to do that on Sunday night, so I can have the majority of the double credit weekend with my Super Chroma. So my Chroma will have 600% power strength and 75% more efficiency compared to whatever he has right now. The reason I'm doing that is just because Chroma is going to be the best credit doubler. He's literally the only credit doubling frame in the game. And hopefully I'll have like a teammate with Volt or something like that to make me move faster. But yeah, big power strength is great here. We also want to go for big duration too. And we've Helminth on the ability Nourish from Grendel. This is a great ability for this fight because it gives you viral damage on all weapons. And like I said earlier, you need to do every element in the game, technically, to fight this boss. So having viral everything makes it really easy. It means you don't have to actually mod for viral or anything because it's just be built in. So good stuff there. As far as the build on Chroma and the Arcanes and all that, I've got the build as follows. It's a nice comfy build for me. And of course, once I have that invigoration for more power, strength, and efficiency, it'll be even more comfy. So the things you want to make sure you have here is going to be Arcane Nullifier, very important. You will get rid of every magnetic proc. And if you don't have this equipped, there's lots of magnetic procs happening that will drain your energy a lot. So keep an eye out for that. Arcane Grace is just good for me because you are getting damaged a lot in this fight, pretty much constantly. And Chroma has a lot of armor and HP, so Grace is pretty helpful, although not needed. As far as the mods, then we got Holster Amp. Whenever you switch weapons, you'll do increase the damage. That's really good because we're switching weapons a lot on this build. Also, you should be on ideally Toxin Elemental Ward, gives you even more holster damage. You're going to blast that thing's shield down really fast. Prime Sure-Footed, not to get knocked over. If you don't have Prime Sure-Footed, that's unfortunate, but you can use normal Sure-Footed and Fortitude to get the same type of effect. So you basically just search just search Knockdown, basically. And then you can run this mod and normal Sure-Footed, basically replace Energy Nexus, I guess, and you'll be able to have the same effect, just using more mod space for it, because you don't have the Prime version yet, which is only from login bonuses. Energy Nexus alongside Nourish gives us a constant flow of energy, and also when I have that Invigoration, it will be even better because we'll be able to cast our abilities freely. We got good stuff there. Of course, that's up to personal preference. I like this one a lot. As far as the other mods, we got the triple Umbra mod set here. Big power strength, big armor, and big HP. Makes it so we don't die. It also makes me do a lot of damage to the spider. We want a lot of strength for Chroma because Vex armor has third ability skills with power strength to give you more armor and damage. And also, we do want to get shot because the more damage you take, you'll be able to get to your damage bonus with Chroma. So yeah, ideally you're not going to have anybody in your team with Overguard. Like, no Dante is allowed, basically. So yeah, you want to get shot at to get your bonus from that. You can also technically get it from ranged damage kills, but you're not meant to be getting ranged damage kills in this mission. You're trying to just kill the singular boss. So yeah, you want to get shot at for this. As far as the rest of the stuff, is just big duration and big power strength. There's not really much else to it. And with this, with no prime flow, we can actually cast our abilities at the beginning of the mission relatively easily. Okay, moving on to the next weapon here, we got the Kuva Ogris. The element does not matter on the Ogris at all. Just go for the Kuva Ogris with, ideally, the max 60% bonus. This will be used to shoot the pylons through their shields, and you do not need a rivet at all. What you do want to have, though, you want to have magazine-size mods, because you want to have 6 rockets in your magazine, so you can destroy all 6 of the pylons for the second pylon phase without having to reload. So yeah, big magazine size is ideal. So you basically fire this Ogris at each of the pylons, and the Prime Firestorm Nightwatch Napalm combo will take out that bubble from outside of it. Very, very straightforward and very easy. But yeah, ideally you just have a magazine size set up on here, and then you want some fire rate too to fire at those pylons. And this thing is not used for DPS on the boss, it's just used for DPS on the pylons to make him damageable again. Your main DPS weapon for this will be the SIcarus Prime in Karnan, ideally. And the reason for that is because the burst nature of the SIcarus Prime lets it hit multiple different elemental types in the shield per bullet. So you basically break one elemental type with bullet number 1 in the same burst, no extra trigger pulls needed. You're breaking multiple different elemental types. And we have lots of elements on this weapon, as you can see right here. And then not to mention the Nourish Viral we have as well. But as far as the Incarnate perks, we got Feigned Retreat, Extended Volley, and Commodore's Fortune, just to get basically more damage and crit. So yeah, the thing about this is that if you have a Riven, which ideally you do, you want to make the build based around the Riven to a degree. So I have a not amazing Riven, but it's okay. It's Toxin and crit damage. So if you didn't have a Riven with Toxin on it, you want to put a Toxin mod there instead. And keep in mind, it would not be as good, because you would not have your crit damage, because the Riven has crit damage on it too. So yeah, you do want to make, you can maybe put the crit damage mod right there if you do that, but yeah, the idea of this, guys, is basically you want to have as many elements on here with as much multi-shot and DPS you can output as possible. So, as to the build, we have Slash, Radiation, Heat, Corrosive, Impact, Magnetic, and Puncture. So a good chunk of the elements are on this thing, but not all of them. So you still want to have other weapons with other elements too. As far as the build, we have Eject Magazine to auto-reload this thing while holstered. It's very good. The nature of this fight is you're switching weapons constantly, just damaging this boss. So Eject Magazine is a great mod for this. Also, none of the Arcanes really help that much besides Secondary Enervate, and you're like, wait, you already have 111% crit chance. Why are you putting on Enervate? Because if you look at the Arcanes, there's really not other good options on here. Maybe Secondary Surge for more damage when you cast an ability. No, Enervate's to be the most reliable here. It's a reset the perk after you get 6 orange crits, which 111%, you're not guaranteed the orange crits. It's just better than nothing. So you could literally just do it with no Arcane if you wanted to. But the big thing here, guys, make sure you have Magnetic Might, make sure you have Accelerate Isotope for Magnetic and Radiation, and fit on as many elements as you possibly can. I've got Corrosive Heat on here, which works pretty well. That'll be your main DPS weapon, though. As far as your other DPS weapon, we got the Zaw here. Now, you can run whatever Zaw you want, so any Zaw will do as long as it has good crit and good attack speed. So some other good ones would be the Rob V Zaw with Sikala, Rob V Vargeet Tujai. Let me try to remember some of these other ones here. Got the Noodletron here, Sikala, Rob V, Vargeet Tu, Ruhang. You know, there's more of them too. I don't remember all of them at the top of my head. The Bala, Pei, Bala, Vargeet Tujai. Like, you can run anything you want that is good enough to run Exodia Contagion, because Exodia Contagion is one of our other damage sources. So the reason we're using Exodia Contagion is not only is it a ranged melee attack, but it has built-in blast damage, meaning we can damage the blast part of the Proptaker shield really, really easily with this. So, yeah, additionally, we've got melee exposure on here. It will throw corrosive damage on our weapon, too. Again, it's just, you want to have as much elemental coverage on these weapons as possible, so you can take out the shield as easily as possible. But as far as the build, just like the previous one, Magnetic and Radiation on here. And we got Viral from Nourish. Also, the Plague QR also has Viral built in, too, but don't worry about that part as much. This one's got Toxin on it, So this one's going to be mainly Blast, Toxin, and everything else. There are 2 elements we don't cover, or technically 3 elements we don't cover on our weapons. We have that on our Operator Amp and our Elite On-Call crew member, okay? So, yeah, build here is just like whatever, lots of elements. Attack speed to release the Exotic Contagion easier. You can also put on Dispatch Override. Once you beat the spider, do a heavy attack on an enemy, it will make your Archwing faster for 15 seconds. That kind of helps to get to the extraction a lot faster. As far as our focus tree, got Matter Eye focus tree for increased damage, and also you can use Void Strike for big damage increase, and that's also going to drain all your Operator energy, which is great for our Operator Amp Arcanes we're using. As far as the companion here, got the Adarza Kavat to give more critical chance, and also he's going to double our money too, because he's got the mod called Prosperous Retriever. You need this mod if you're fighting the Profit Taker, trust me. 18% chance to double up the credits at the end. Really, really helpful. It will get you your 2.4 million in a run if you have everything stacked up properly. But as far as the stuff on here, we want to have Cat's Eye to give increased critical chance. You want to have Link Vitality and Link Fiber to make the cat super tanky because you're playing Chroma, and the cat will be more tanky than you, technically. We've also got Tenacious Bond for more critical damage on our frame. We could have Reinforced Bond in here too, but the cat doesn't have enough shield to do that, so it wouldn't really help that much. Synth Fiber, helping you auto-reload your guns while holstered. And that's Tech Enhanced to have longer crit chance increase, and also another synth mod to make the magazines reload while holstered even more. So, yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. You also want to fetch to pick up the loot too. And as far as the cat claws, make sure the cat has enough crit chance on the claws to give you your Tenacious Bond buff. Moving on to the things you don't have equipped on your frame, it's going to be the Operator now. So as far as the Operator's Amp, the Operator's Arcanes, they are actually important for Profit Taker. They're only important to cover an additional element, but yeah, if you do want to, do everything I'm doing here to get those sub 2-minute runs with this loadout, you can run it as follows. So I got my Operator with Eternal Onslaught and a Virtuous Surge. Virtuous Surge is the most important arcane here because, as you can see, converts void damage into electric damage. Since we don't have electric mod on anything, if we had a Volt, he could take care of the electric. But since we're doing the solo right now, our amp can take care of electric, and this is also to chunk the shield really hard. So as far as the amp I have here, I've currently got the Raplock Certus Pod amp equipped, the 147. That's my go-to amp for many missions. But yeah, you do want to make sure you have Virtuous Surge, and make sure if you are running Void Cascade, make sure you take this amp arcane off because you will be really useless at Void Cascade if you have this equipped. So as you see, our amp goes from 3,000 void damage to mostly electric, and then a little bit of void damage. So yeah, make sure you take this off for Void Cascade. As far as the last 2 elements, if you've been paying attention, the last 2 elements we are missing are gas and cold. So we're missing gas and cold damage. How do we get gas and cold damage? It's going to be the Elite On-Call crew member. So go to your, get your Railjack Intrinsics leveled up, and get an Elite On-Call crew member, ideally with high stats in combat and endurance. And the weapon I'm going to recommend to you is the Opticore Vandal. Opticore Vandal comes from like Thermia Fractures. So equip the Opticore Vandal. Now the UI in the Dojo strain here is messed up, but you want to mod this thing for gas and cold. So as you see on the build, we've got Fire Rate, Anti-Corpus Bane, a Toxin mod, and a Fire mod to make gas damage, and a Cold mod to make cold damage. So we have gas and cold, the 2 elements we're missing, and the AI of the on-call is a little bit better with the Opticore Vandal than it is with the Kuva Czar against the big spider. So yeah, highly recommend something like this. Now, if you do want to run the full damage build, you can take off Wildfire for Hellfire, and it should do a lot more damage. But on my form myself, I could not technically do that as easily. So yeah, that's going to be every element in the game covered for Profit Taker, guys. Now, as far as what is the major changes here, and what are some alternatives, I'm going to show you the main change right here, the main new Archwing Gun I'm using. So here's the thing. They made it where the Profit Taker has attenuation now, so the Corvus can still one-shot, but you need a really, really good rip of the Corvus to one-shot. Like, technically, my Corvus can still one-shot, but honestly, one-shotting is slower than this. So use the Prisma Dual Decaying to DPS the spider. You don't need a second Arcane, you just need Secondary Enervate. Actually, you don't even need this. You could use Secondary Enervate, but yeah, a build like this, mod for Magnetic, is ideal for the spider's legs now, to take it out like pretty much as fast as you can. I would say it is the best Archwing Gun in the game for this because it has extremely high damage per bullet, and also it has relatively good stats. So yeah, if you look at the comparison to the other weapons we could use for this, the Prisma Dual Decaying is like double the damage of a lot of the other Archwing Guns. The Mausolon is pretty close. The Mausolon is also usable for this. But yeah, guys, the legs of the spider are now weak to magnetic. So just mod your weapon for magnetic and crit and multi-shot and just go to town. So as far as how to make it as ideal as possible, I'd recommend that you get a Riven mod for the Dual Decaying with anti-corpus. Look at that thing just get shredded. So you'll shred the legs instantly. Now it's faster than one-shotting. So I'd highly recommend the Prisma Dual Decaying. Now it's really hard to get it. I think I was from Borrow Katir. So I wouldn't say, I mean, you could buy it for like 200 plat before this Profit Taker weekend comes back. But yeah. As far as it stands, you want to get a Riven with anti-corpus because there is no anti-corpus mod in the game for Archwing Guns. I would honestly say that this anti-corpus multi-shot Riven is better than this double crit multi-shot Riven for the Profit Taker. Enervate's good because as you get crits, you'll get orange crits, and it works pretty well on a high-fire weapon like this. And you can kill all 4 legs in one magazine if you have a good enough setup. Now, if you don't have a Riven like this, let's go ahead and show a Mausolon build real quick. If you want to use something that's probably not as hard to get, because you just get it from having a Necromech build, but it is technically a little bit worse, just because the hitbox is not that great. So, here is, that's not it. There we go. So here is the Profit Taker. I guess I'd try to call it budget, but it's not exactly budget. The Profit Taker, I don't have the Prisma Dual Decaying build. So you want to have the exact same kind of idea, magnetic damage, big magnetic damage, and then big crit. And then Enervate on the Arcane slot. No primary Arcane slot needed as far as fighting the Profit Taker. So you do the exact same thing. It just got a little bit worse hitbox. So if I can find that clip of me using the Mausolon in this background footage. It was definitely okay. It's not ideal. Okay, here we go. So I got a little bit of Mausolon footage for you. If you do want to use it, guys, like I said, it's worse than the Dual Decaying, but it's not like it's actually that bad. And you probably actually have this too, just because it comes from a Necromech. So exact same idea, exact same loadout, but we have the Mausolon equipped instead of the Prisma Dual Decaying. And a lot of stuff happening on the screen is a little bit blurry. So there you go. Mausolon, it can take out the 4 legs in one magazine. The fun thing about the Mausolon is it has a 300 round magazine, and the Dual Decaying has a 64 round magazine. So you'll definitely, get the Profit Taker killed in one magazine with this. But the thing is too, it has lower damage. It's 180 damage per bullet on the Mausolon versus 220 on the Prisma Dual Decaying. I would recommend the Prisma Dual Decaying, and that's going to be the entire video. I almost forgot to mention that part at the end. But yeah, that's going to be basically it, guys. The Prisma Dual Decaying is my new go-to Profit Taker weapon. And as far as the build on the Necromech, it's level 3 right now. But yeah, all this stuff, I forwarded it one more time to put on the last mod, which would be Necromech Drift. So once I have it fully formed, I'll put that on there. Actually, no, it's Necromech Friction. Sorry, Necromech Friction is the one I want. Lets you slide for longer. But yeah, it's annoying to level up mechs, so we'll see about that. Alright guys, see you next video. Appreciate the support. If I forgot anything, sorry. It's one of those videos where it's like 9 build videos, once I almost forgot 3 of them already. So take it easy. I'll see you on stream. Peace.